Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RVN's playoff recap. So glad you could be with us here this evening. We have a lot going on. We have some series to preview and a lot more, to say the least. So we'll take a break and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
You got a call?
It's my husband.
What happened?
We were in the pro shop. He and Bob were discussing global warming and...
Winnebago's Casino Resort is celebrating its 32nd anniversary all month long. Win your share of over $100,000 in cash and prizes, including the 32nd anniversary hot seat giveaway on Friday, April 12th and Friday, April 19th.
He's got to set up his ass.
Not the first time.
Sir, you all right in there?
Who said that?
And who's Bob?
My husband. Over there.
Next time your husbands don't have a clue, make sure they text KGB first. Always know what you're talking about. Text your questions to 542-542.
It's a boo.
If you're wondering,
Is this really the best price on Kodak film?
you're not at Walmart. At Walmart, a 24 exposure roll of Kodak 135 print film is just $2.68 every day. And you'll always find low prices. Real savings on the items you want. That's our promise and our commitment to you. That's why Walmart continues to roll back prices whenever we can. Maxell audio tape, a 2-pack was $4.47. Now it's rolled back to just $3.67 every day.
I'm going to Walmart.
That's the Walmart way.
There are two sides to GoDaddy. There's the sexy side represented by Bar Raffaelli, and the smart side that creates a killer website for your small business represented by Walter. Together, they're perfect. Get your domain and website at GoDaddy.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to playoff recap. Well, guess what? It is now time to take a look. Well, here's the rundown of tonight's show. We'll start off with tonight in Musketeers history. Then we'll look at some scores from across the country. Take a look at the USHL bracket. Play one final game where you will have a shot to win at home. And then right at the end of the show, we will have our weekend preview. So this show will actually be longer than all the other episodes we've done here so far, 25 minutes. However, though, we're starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, a lot earlier than, the 10:40 p.m. Eastern time we've been doing the last 3 nights, so it's going to be a great thing, to say the least. Alrighty, let's get straight into tonight in Musketeers history. In fact, tonight we're going to go all the way back to 2014. It was the Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals. Omaha against Sioux City. Omaha had the series lead, Sioux City had the series lead at 2 games apiece. There we go. Now, this one actually needed an extra period, believe it or not. I know, these extra periods. Ugh. But no. Sioux City ended up on top. Omaha did rather. Excuse me. 4-3 was the final in overtime when you take a look at the Sioux City score sheet for that night. Trevor Olson, 1 goal, 1 assist. Avery Peterson, 1 goal, 1 assist. And then Adam Johnson scored the goal. Scored a goal for the Musketeers. Rest in peace to him. So, yeah, just like that, that is today in Musketeers history. So, yeah, we're going to get into it now with some scores from across the country. We'll start off with the NHL. There's only 6 games on tonight. Right now, the Wild lead the Kraken 1-0 in the second period. At 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Canucks at the Jets. 9 p.m. Sharks at Flames. 9:30 Oilers at Avalanche. Ducks at Knights at 10 o'clock. Then at 10:30, Blackhawks at the Kings. MLB scores now from across the country. Shoot, hold on. There we go today. Only 5 games on in the MLB today. A bit surprising in my eyes, but hey. The Diamondbacks are at the Giants here, coming up in about an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half. The Rays beat the Angels 2-1. The Rangers beat the Tigers 9-7. The Guardians beat the Red Sox 5-4. And postponed because of rain, it'll be made up on Saturday. The Marlins at the Cubs. So those are all the scores going on from across the country. So that is it in terms of scores. Normally at this point we would now be actually moving on to a commercial break and then the final game, which obviously that's not what we're going to do. We're going to preview the USHL bracket here. So as you know, the first round is done. We had 6 teams, 3 moved on. Wait, no, we had 8 teams and 4 moved on there, rather, excusez-moi. So, it should be interesting to see what this next round's going to hold. We're going to start off with the West. Sioux City and Lincoln, we're not going to do too much of. We're not going to preview it actually at all here, because, you know, we'll obviously be broadcasting that series. So, you'll hear all the stuff and all those stories and all that, you know, when those games take place. In fact, Game 1 tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We may or may not be at Pease Pizza. That is still up in the air. I had planned to do the final NBA play-in game, the Western Conference game. That is no more. However, though, we will still have the Saturday night game at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Between, I believe it's the Lakers at the Nuggets. That's Saturday night. And then Sunday afternoon, we'll have NHL first round action starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I guess we might as well just do the weekend preview now. But, yeah, we'll have Washington at the Rangers at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. It might be 3:10 depending on how far that game. Although it'll say, you know, oh, game is starting on ESPN2 or something like that. Then we'll turn on to there. And then once the other game gets over, then we'll flip back to ESPN like that. So it should be a fun one Sunday afternoon between the Caps and the Rangers. And so, yeah, NBA, NHL. As you know, we're going to be covering every single weekend, NBA and NHL. And then during the week, if there's an elimination game, then we'll call those more than likely. It just depends, obviously. So, yeah. Alrighty, so now we'll start off with the bracket preview. I was going to save the weekend preview until the end of the show, but obviously that did not happen. So, yeah, we might have a little extra time still at the end to chat. But for now, let's get straight into the weekend preview, or the bracket preview here for the first round. We will start off with Tri-City versus Fargo. Now, Fargo and Tri-City played 6 games together in the regular season. Tri-City went 3-2-0-1, while Fargo went 3-2-1-0. If any team was going to beat Fargo in the playoffs, I think it is this Tri-City Storm Hockey Club. Trevor Connolly, 78 points. 78 points. He scores 1.5 goals, or 1.5 points rather, per contest. If anybody was going to take down the Fargo offense of, you know, some of their top players, Max Swanson with 77 points, Zam Plant, 71 points, even like Lee Parks and Loa Gruba with 58 and 57 points respectively, it will be Trevor Connolly. And although I don't really like the man in the way he plays, because he's a really big whiner. He needs to whine his way. I'm basically begging him against Fargo, whine as much as you want, okay? Just to make Fargo lose, you can whine as much as you want. However, though, once you play us in the conference finals, which who knows may or may not happen, then do whatever you want. Yeah, then I'm gonna have to start criticizing you again. But yeah. But if anybody was going to take down Fargo in the playoffs in the West, it would 100% be the Tri-City Storm. In fact, when we go back to their first 2 regular season meetings, it wasn't as pretty. In fact, Tri-City gave up 7 goals in each game. So December 28th, Fargo won 7-2. December 28th and 29th, Fargo beat Tri-City 7-4. So, yeah, their next meeting would come the next month. Back in Fargo, Tri-City beat Fargo 4-3, a final in overtime. So, hey, much better game. And then they had a weekend series in March. It was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday game down in Kearney, Nebraska. The first game, Tri-City just exploded. 8-3 was the final score in that game. Tri-City beat Fargo. And then Tri-City almost pulled out another victory against Fargo. However, they lost in a shootout 4-3. And then that Sunday, Tri-City beat Fargo 6-2. Now, I actually added up all of the points or all of the goals scored from each team. And I believe, if I don't have it written down here, but if I remember correctly, Tri-City outscored Fargo, I think it was 26-23 in their 6-game series this year. That needs to happen for Tri-City. Now, granted, they played 3 games, 2 of them going into extras. In fact, here, we'll review Tri-City's first 3 games. Monday night, Sioux Falls won against Tri-City 6-5 in overtime. Okay. Well, the next night, Tri-City beat Sioux Falls 3-2 in overtime. 71 minutes and 14 seconds worth of hockey each night. That's already 2 hours and 22 minutes of hockey played in 2 nights. And then Tri-City just exploded from Sioux Falls Wednesday night, scoring 8-3. So now they have played 90 minutes plus another period of hockey. Yeah, because 71 plus 71, that's 142 plus another 60. That's 202 minutes. 3 hours and 22 minutes of hockey over 3 nights. Now, granted, they have a 2-day break, but is fatigue going to play a factor when it comes to playing Fargo Saturday? Obviously, it might. They're in Tri-City they're in Fargo the first 2 nights of the series, Saturday and Sunday. You know that building is going to be packed to the brim. 5,000 to 6,000 people there, pretty much guaranteed. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes past 7,000 people. I'm not sure exactly how many people Shields Arena fits in Fargo, but I've seen on, their best attendance numbers, and it's usually 5,500 to 6,500 people. You're probably going to expect more than that during the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know. I that may not get to them. Who knows? Although after their recent showings while playing in Fargo this year, it might come back to bite them. It's going to be how well they play in one of those first 2 games. If they need to get at least 1 from Fargo. I mean, I know that might seem important to every road team whose first 2 games are in a different city. I know that. But for Tri-City, it is especially important for them. They need to get at least 1, or at least have a good start in one of those games that will, sort of be a cushion for the rest of the game. I'm not saying, let go from that. Just saying, the top leaders have to step up more than ever. And I think, like I said, if anybody was going to beat Fargo in the playoffs, it's going to be this Tri-City squad. So yeah. Anyway, back next series now. Green Bay versus Muskegon. So let's take a look at their meetings this year. Once again, 6 games played. In fact, they were all played in 3-day weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Interesting. So we'll start out October 27th. Green Bay beat Muskegon 3-2 in overtime. And then Saturday night, Green Bay beat Muskegon 6-5 in overtime. Then that Sunday afternoon, Green Bay beat Muskegon 5-1. All of those games were in Muskegon, and they won them all. That may spell trouble here. Now, let's get this. Muskegon comes to Green Bay in February, and in fact, it was the same weekend as we had 3 games in a row, the 23rd through the 25th of February. So it was Muskegon going into Green Bay those 3 nights. Green Bay got the victory 5-1. Once again, they were on their home ice, but then Muskegon just went on a tear against Green Bay. It wasn't really quite a tear, but 7-4 was the final score that Saturday. Then that Sunday afternoon game, Green Bay beat Muskegon 5-4. This year, Green Bay against Muskegon, 5-1 on the year. Muskegon 1-3-1-1, and that only game they won wasn't even on their home ice. So, looking at that, you could obviously say that could cause trouble for Muskegon. However, though, Green Bay, they have played 76 minutes worth of hockey here over the last 3 nights, because their game 3 went into overtime, and I think it was with like 3:15 or 3:20 left to go in that first overtime. They won it. So there's obviously a little bit of fatigue there too. So factor that in. That might make things really interesting. Although I think with the way, because Green Bay, well, we'll just be honest with you. Green Bay ended the year 2nd. Oh, wait, hold on. No, this is the playoff one. They have a separate standings thing for the, I don't know why, but Green Bay finished 3rd at 78 points. So I wouldn't quite rule them out against Muskegon. In fact, this is going to be a big competitive series, which is going to be interesting. In fact, taking a look at Green Bay's first round, 3 games. Green Bay beat Chicago 6-5. Tuesday night, Chicago beat Green Bay 5-2, and then, like I said, Green Bay won it in overtime last night 3-2. In fact, it was the first time they've won a playoff series in 12 years. So there you go. Now, the other matchup in the East will be Youngstown versus Dubuque. Now, only 4 meetings between these teams this year. Only 4, 2 at home, 2 away. Friday, Saturday type of thing. In fact, the first matchup was over Veterans Day weekend in Dubuque. We'll start off that Friday night on November 10th. Youngstown beat Dubuque in a shootout 5-4. Dubuque beat Youngstown 4-1 on Veterans Day. Then Dubuque came to Youngstown in March 1st. They got the victory over Youngstown 6-4. And then Dubuque beat Youngstown 3-0 on that Saturday night. So yeah, Dubuque obviously with the clear edge in this series for sure. They definitely have the edge. In fact, the one win that Madison did end up getting was in a shootout. So Dubuque could have won that game just as easily as Youngstown did. So in fact, we could have a 4-0 and an 0-4 type of thing. But no, that's not what we have here. Dubuque 3-0-0-1 versus Youngstown this year, and then Youngstown 1-3-0-0 this year. Yeah, no extra period losses for Youngstown. So, well, no, not this year. When I said this year, it means in this series. Just like, I mean, that's not like a general thing, but in this case, it is. So, yeah, and then, in fact, when you look at the first 3 games of the matchup, this was a high-scoring series, Youngstown and Madison. I mean, the East gets all the talent that we don't really get to see out in the West because, to be fair, the USHL headquarters is in the East. It's in Chicago, so that, you can look at that as you may, but, yeah, so obviously I think that plays into a bit of a role where the East just gets the bigger and better talent. But, you know, that's obviously just a Western fan's bias, to be honest with you. But, hey, I mean. But that Monday night, Madison beat Youngstown 7-4. Tuesday night, Youngstown beat Madison 5-2. And Youngstown beat Madison 8-4 last night. High-scoring series. In fact, 11 goals the first night, 12 goals for the last game, and then 7, obviously, for Tuesday night. In fact, when we add it up in my head, let's see, that's 7 plus 11, that's 18. An average of 10 goals per game in that series. Obviously, although Youngstown, they didn't go into overtime those 3 games, fatigue, you know, like a 3-game series like that, playing an extra 3-game series that 4 other teams don't get to compete, you know, that obviously means something. It means something. I don't know what, but it means something. So I think the key is for these first round teams, get an early start, an early good start, because you're going to be in another team's barn. That game's 3 and 4 in your barn. So either in games 1 or 2, your goal is to A, get a victory, or B, have a good enough start that will lead to a victory and create like a cushion for yourself so that, you know, if something horribly goes wrong, you're prepared for it and you're able to just stop it nicely, whatever it is. So yeah, I think the goal for the away teams, get a great start early in the series. That's the goal, I think. In fact, when you take a look at all of the games for the first round, in fact, 7.82 goals a contest. A contest. That's crazy. 8 goals a game? So you could have a 4-4 tie. That's nuts. I mean, hell, in the dead puck era, the NHL, some hockey games, you know, you'd get less than 5 goals total a contest. That's why they called it the dead puck era of the NHL. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it in terms of the bracket preview. We're going to get our game set up here, and it's going to have to go fast because that took a whole lot longer than I thought it was going to, which, you know, I probably should have planned things out a little more thoroughly, but I didn't realize I was going to jabber as long about the Tri-City Fargo series as I did. So we're going to play for a car and $1 million here that one of you could win at home. So lines are now open if you want to make your entry. One entry, and you must call 090-11323-000, 090-11323-000. Or text. Wait, no, I just said you can't text. You must call. Calls are worth 10 cents a pop. So that's it. Potentially win $1 million? Hell yeah. Here we go. It's our wheel game. You know how the rules work. We'll spin the wheel as many times as need be. Try and hit the auto. And we got the auto. There we go. And $1,000 added to our bank for hitting that. Our goal is to win a car. 5 autos means we win the car. However, if we can get 5 straight in a row in our first 5 spins, that's $1 million. It's cash, but that's okay. So we hit a cash amount. That's just bonus cash added to our bank. No win, no loss. That was $250. And if we land on strike, well, that's not good. Obviously, 3 strikes and we're out. So there you go. And there we go. We hit $1,000. $2,250 already in our first 3 spins. Not too bad. Let's keep going. I've just heard that if we need to, we can extend this episode by a couple of minutes. Another $1,000. Boy, we're getting all this bonus cash and all these spins. That's nuts. Auto, yes! Oh, clicked at the last minute to a strike. All right, well, we'll keep spinning. $500. Well, there we go. $37.50. Not too shabby at all. Now, if we get 5 autos from this point, we'll win whatever cash we want, and then the car put on top. Auto! Another $1,000. $47.50. 2 autos, 1 strike. Not too shabby. Let's keep going. I need to quit saying that. I've said that a little too many times in this episode so far. Another auto! 5,750. 2 more autos left to go. Let's keep going. $500. There we go. $6,250. Not too bad at all. Let's do this. $6,000. And that could go to one of you all at home, so. Auto! Okay. $7,250. Now, if we land this next spin, the car we will win is, plus another 1,000 on top. The car we will win will be a Toyota CHR valued at $24,280. Come on. Auto, 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 auto. Yes, there it is! Strike. Well, here's the new situation. We have got $7,250. If we want to, we can stop. Or we can keep playing. However, though, if we land on strike, we lose all of that money and our shot to win the car. So that is what the dilemma is right now as we speak. So, here we go. One final spin at the wheel. That's if we want to go for it, which we're actually not going to go for it just because $7,250, you know. Yeah. But let's see what would have happened if we did go for it. Let's hope it won't be a decision that we come to regret. No way. No! Oh, I just costed one of you at home a car. Damn it. Well, in fact, the total winnings would have been $32,530 in cash and car. But hey, $7,250, not too bad at all. In fact, if you want to win that money, call 090-113-230-000. That number again, 090-113-230-000. You must call. There's no texting. You must call. If you text, your vote will not count, but you will be charged for it. So don't do that, please. Alrighty, so let's give you a preview of this weekend. So, it's going to start tomorrow night, Sioux City at Lincoln, round 2, game 1. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. If we're in the studio calling that game tomorrow night, we will also have the $1 Million Drop live at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. If we're at Pease, then we'll just be on the air at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday night, it actually is going to start at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We will have both the NBA bracket preview and the NHL bracket preview at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we will be back on the air at 6:45 p.m. Eastern when we'll have Game 2 of Sioux City versus Lincoln. And we will also have the Lakers versus Denver. Hopefully, if we're back at home for that. Cross our fingers. I think we will be, just because, you know, I am calling the Lakers at Denver. So we'll be home anyway. Like I said, we probably won't be out at Peace Pizza Saturday night. I think that's pretty much a guarantee because it's actually supposed to be cold. And just kind of the way the last time went at Peace, I just don't think, you know, being there 2 nights in a row is going to be a good thing for us. And then Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Washington versus New York Stanley Cup playoffs. So yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend of hockey. And then Game 3, Monday night, 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time, Lincoln comes here into town to face your Muskies. So it's going to be a fun weekend and a start to the week next week. So make sure you're here because we've got all of it here. In fact, one thing, we're having content Monday to Tuesday in a row. It's 8 days. That's crazy. So we will see you all tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern if we're at Pease, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time if we're here in the studio for the $1 Million Drop Live. I'll see you then. Good night. Stay tuned for Coronation Street right here on RVN. And phone lines will close at midnight Eastern time, so get your votes in, or get your entries in. Good night. Limit 1 vote per number. 2. Although those rules were on your screen, so hopefully you follow them.